The Edo period in Japanese history, which spans from 1603 to 1868, is known for the country's reunification under the Tokugawa shogunate, a military regime that consolidated authority and upheld peace and stability over the entire nation. The city of Edo, today's Tokyo, which served as the shogunate's capital, bears the name of this era. The Tokugawa shogunate implemented a policy of national seclusion that limited trade and foreign influence. This policy led to a cultural and artistic renaissance in Japan, as architects, artists, writers, and scholars focused on developing a unique Japanese culture.
Throughout the Edo period, when more popular culture flourished, a defined tendency towards secularism is also apparent in the field of architecture. To give you an idea, sukiya-zukuri is an architectural style that has been significantly altered during this period of time. The term sukiya is derived from the Japanese word suk, which means refined taste or sophistication, while zukuri means construction or building. Sukiya-zukuri is a collective word for architectural design that embodies refined taste and restraint. The world's origins refer to a building where ikebana, tea ceremonies, and other traditional Japanese arts were practiced.
And now let's talk about our timeline. Sukiya-zukuri architecture features low sloping roofs with wide eaves that extend outwards, creating a covered porch or veranda. The roofs are typically thatched with rice straw or covered with shingles made from Japanese cypress or other types of wood. The eaves and roof lines are often decorated with intricate wooden carvings or lattice work. In this time frame, we'll talk about how natural resources were used. Starting in 1432, the contours of wabi-sabi began to emerge in the style of sukiya-zukuri, emphasizing the beauty of imperfection and impermanence. This is reflected in the use of natural materials that age and weather over time, and in the emphasis on simplicity and understand elegance. In the 17th century, where increased the use of natural resources. One significant development during the Edo period was the increased use of wood as building material. This was due in part to the abundance of timber resources in Japan, but also because of the growing popularity of the sukiya-zukuri style, which emphasized the use of natural materials. On the late of the 17th century were used as sliding doors and sliding windows. So, as I said, another notable feature of sukiya-zukuri buildings during the Edo period was the use of sliding doors and screens with paper or silk coverings. These doors and screens allowed natural light to enter the building while also providing privacy and flexibility in the use of space. The last but not least topic will be about how buildings of sukiya-zukuri period was decorated. In addition, the interior of sukiya-zukuri buildings during the Edo period was often featured decorative elements such as hanging scrolls, flower arrangement, and calligraphy. These elements were carefully chosen to create a sense of harmony and balance within the space. Overall, the architectural style of sukiya-zukuri during the Edo period remained true to its original principles of simplicity, elegance, and the use of natural materials. However, the increased use of wood and decorative elements gave the style a more refined and sophisticated look.
So this direction of architecture also has distinctive features such as elegance and sophistication inherent in Japanese culture during the Reunification period. The first work performed in this style was started back in 1587 when Toyotomi Hideyoshi hired the tea master Sen no Rikyu as an aesthetic consultant for the construction of Hideyoshi Tokudai Palace in Kyoto Rikyu. The construction became one of the first constructions in this style. On the territory of the impressive Hideyoshi Tokudai Palace in Kyoto, Rikyu designed a building of 18 tatami mats called Colorful Scene. As in the Colorful Scene tea house, Sendo Rikyu coated the rays with a mixture of Bengali red dye and black dye to give them an old and smoky look. Further, another striking example of the application of sukiya-zukuri style was the Katsura Imperial Villa in Kyoto, created by Senno Rikyu and inspired by the tea house, which frees Japan from the restrictions of tradition, provide freedom and functionality that can only be found in this style of Japanese architecture. In To's sukiya-zukuri during the Sen nor Kyu period, architecture incorporates the aesthetics of tea houses and includes all kinds of building types, including living quarters.
Overall, the Tokugawa period had a profound influence on Japanese culture, shaping many of the customs and practices that are still observed today, and sukiya-zukuri as it helped to popularize the art form and integrate it into the new urban culture that emerged at the time. To sum up, Japan's architecture underwent a significant change during the Edo period that is still plainly visible in modern Japan. In addition to being a period of serenity and stability, the Edo era is regarded as a pinnacle of creative and cultural achievement.